Hey, what's going on everybody? Paul Tech here, and welcome to my full review of the BLU G9 Pro. Now, the BLU G9 Pro has been out on the market now for about 6 months, but I never did a full review on this device, and I kind of feel like it flew underneath the radar. So I figured 6 months later, now in 2020, it would be a good time to give you my experience of using this device as my daily smartphone and let you know if I still think it's worth picking up today in 2020, 6 months after its launch. And the G9 Pro does come with some pretty good specifications, especially for the price, which I'll cover in this review. But let's go ahead and talk about design and build here. So you're getting pretty much a glass and metal design here, glass in the front, glass in the back, and that is Corning Gorilla Glass 3. You're getting a metallic metal housing here that goes around the entire device. This really nice color, I believe it's called Nightfall, and it has this nice pattern design to it. This blue color looks extremely nice and has like a little bit of a purple effect to the bottom of the device. Headphone jack, Type-C charging, volume rockers, power button on the right hand side, and they are very nice, tactile and responsive, nice and easy to reach, good position there. And the G9 Pro also comes with an included case in the box, so you get this clear protective case, and this also has a pre-installed screen protector on the display, and you're also going to get a tempered glass screen protector included in the box, so a lot of great value for that $199. And moving on to the display now, so you get a very beautiful looking display here, a little bit of a camera cutout up on top, but it's not very distracting or intrusive. You get a little bit of chin to the bottom, pretty minimal bezels on board here, 6.3 inches full HD plus display here, 1080 by 2340 resolution, 409 pixels per inch, Corning Gorilla Glass 3 on this, and a 91% screen to body ratio. All the content that I watched on this display looks nice, it looks great. Movies, YouTube videos, all look great on this 1080p panel. Good viewing angles. So if you're interested in watching a lot of movies, a lot of YouTube videos, this is definitely a great display. You will not be disappointed with this display. Moving on to outdoor visibility, how bright does the G9 Pro get? It does have auto brightness, which it'll crank itself up to about 100% when you are in direct sunlight. I would say it gets bright enough, but it would have been nice if it did get a little bit brighter though. All right, and moving on to the fingerprint sensor. So you got the fingerprint sensor to the back, and it's a good security feature. It works 100% of the time. It's very accurate, so I didn't have any issues with the fingerprint sensor. You're also getting facial recognition on board, and facial recognition works really good as well. I did notice in some low lit and dark situations, it does sometimes have a hard time recognizing your face and unlocking your device, but then again, you got the fingerprint sensor, which works great. Now, the BLU G9 Pro is fully unlocked for all GSM carriers across the board, so you can use this on Metro by T-Mobile, AT&T, Cricket Wireless. I've been using this device on Mint Mobile, and you can actually use 2 SIM cards at the same time if you wanted to on this, and I've been having some great 4G LTE connectivity, no issues whatsoever, so good strong signal on Mint Mobile. And when it comes to the phone calls, the call quality has been really good as well. No issues with drop calls. Callers say they hear me perfectly fine, so really good call quality in my opinion. And then moving on to keyboard sensitivity, and I've sent out a lot of text messages, a lot of emails on this device, and everything went through 100% perfectly fine. Picture messages, everything just works good. I've been receiving my text messages, so you shouldn't have any issues sending out emails, receiving them, or sending out text messages on the BLU G9 Pro. So what's under the hood of the BLU G9 Pro? It is the MediaTek Helio P60 octa-core processor, 64-bit with AI technology, and you also get 4 gigabytes of RAM. Now, when it comes to the sensors on the G9 Pro, as you can see, it's packed pretty good with a wide variety of sensors. So if you wanted to, you can watch 360 videos on this. This does have the gyroscope as well. And then when it comes to performance now, so with the MediaTek Helio P60, the 4 gigabytes of RAM, it does an excellent job. As you can see, notifications are coming in perfectly fine on 4G LTE. And take a look at just how fluid it is just scrolling through the Google feed there. Websites open up rather quickly as well. And as you can see, all the content just looks extremely nice on this device with that display. Now, again, Helio P60, 4 gigabytes of RAM. It does a very good job with launching applications. There's hardly any delay when it comes to launching an app, and this device has just been very efficient for me. Pretty much every application that I use, I'm able to download off the Google Play Store. No apps have crashed on me. Everything pretty much just loads up right away. Maybe there is a little 1-second delay on some applications, but not all of them. It just depends. The RAM management is really good on this device. Again, 4 gigabytes of RAM, and I think a lot of these devices in this $200 price point really need that 4 gigabytes of RAM. It just really keeps everything nice, fluid, and it just everything just kind of pretty much just loads up right where you left off. Now, if you're interested in split screen multitasking, you can definitely do this on this device, and it works extremely well. Like I mentioned, or I'm not sure if I did, but GPS works really good. I've been using Mint Mobile, like I mentioned, and I was able to get to my destinations perfectly fine, never lost my location. So again, this is a very, very good performing smartphone. It's one of the best I've used in this $200 price point when it comes to performance. Now, moving on to some features that I really like about this device is when you pull down the status bar. Take a look at all the different quick toggles that you got there. There's a wide variety to choose from, which is really nice. In settings now, I just want to share with you when it comes to Wi-Fi connectivity, this can connect to the 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi. Bluetooth has been good. Hotspot and tethering has worked perfect. Keep in mind there's no NFC on this device. So for me, it's not a deal breaker. It just would have been nice if it did have NFC. As you can see there, you can switch up the on-screen button. So you get a couple options to choose from, as you can see. If you want, you can go ahead and just go full on-screen gestures, and that works also. It's just pretty much entirely up to you. I like the on-screen gestures, but I think the on-screen buttons do work a little bit better. And moving on, as you can see there, when it comes to display now, so you actually have a couple ways of switching up the colors here. You can go standard, you can go vivid. If you go vivid, the display, all the colors look very, very saturated, kind of like a Samsung panel, which I like. And then moving on, you can also see you got some additional options there like cast. So that's something good you got there. And then when it comes to the storage, you get 128 gigabytes of internal storage, which is excellent. I think all devices in this $200 price point should have 128 gigs as well as expandable storage, which you got on this. And when it comes to some additional features under intelligent assistance, you got those packed in as well. And this is running Android Pie, which is fantastic. Get all those Android Pie features baked in. And according to BLU, this is scheduled to upgrade to Android 10 and get 2 years of security patch updates. So we'll just have to wait and see and when we get those updates. And then moving on to the Geekbench 4 test, as you can see, 280 for the single core score, 1,386 for the multi-core score. And moving on to the Antutu benchmark test, as you can see, that is the score we did receive. And I always like to include this because I think people are interested in these numbers. When it comes to gameplay, this device does extremely well when it comes to gaming. You can pretty much play any game off the Google Play Store, and it's going to be able to run it. I didn't notice any type of overheating issues. Games didn't crash on me, and you're basically be able to play, for instance, like Call of Duty on medium to low graphics settings, and everything is just pretty good on this. You know, maybe you'll see an occasional drop in frame. That's about it, but for the most part, yeah, you can definitely play Call of Duty mobile on this device. Now, when it comes to that single down-firing speaker, it's a decent down-firing speaker. I think this would have been best if it was just a speaker in the earpiece, then all that audio is coming directly towards you. Maybe in the future we can get something like that BLU instead of the single down-firing speaker. But nevertheless, you know, it's a decent down-firing speaker, and I think most people will be perfectly fine with it. Here's the audio sample coming from the single down-firing speaker. And a feature that I absolutely love that BLU kept in their G9 Pro is the headphone jack. It's a great feature to have, and it works really well. All my headphones sound perfectly fine with this headphone jack. And moving on to the cameras now. So you got a triple camera setup to the back, and BLU has added some improvements to these cameras. So again, you get an 8 megapixel wide angle field of view, 120 degrees, 2 megapixel depth sensor camera, and a 48 megapixel AI automatic scene detection to get the best possible shot. When it comes to taking photos on this device, the photos come out really, really nice. I love the way the photos come out looking. Even with the wide angle mode, it does lose a little bit of the quality, but it still produces a nice photo, and I just love devices that have this wide field of view. Low light, things can get a little grainy. It's to be expected with, you know, devices in this $200 price point, but you're also getting a night mode on board, which will help with low light photography. You also get the 108 megapixel option here. As you can see, it takes a couple seconds to take the photo and process it. And as you can see, zooming in, how everything looks there with a 4x zoom, it actually retains pretty good quality. And like I mentioned, the photos come out really good. They have a lot of nice color and saturation to them. And with the 108 megapixel, that's going to be what is called the super zoom. And as you can see, it does retain a lot of the quality of the image when you are zoomed in all the way. So with other smartphones, you're going to lose a lot of quality. It's going to be very distorted looking. And with the G9 Pro here, it definitely has a nice amount of quality when you are zoomed in with the 4x zoom. And then you're also getting the beauty mode available, as well as a pro mode for taking photos, so you can adjust like the ISO if you'd like to. And then moving on, you also got your HDR, and then that's the night mode, which should help in low light photos. And then let me go ahead and share with you that you got the AI option, which should basically help with the scene detection to help you get the best possible shot. And then you also got the portrait mode available, and you can go ahead and adjust the f-stop. And the portrait mode seems to work okay. Sometimes it did have little issues with edge detection, so I will mention that. But again, it's good to see you got portrait mode included in the G9 Pro, as well as AI. And then you also get some additional features, as you can see there. So again, you got a lot packed in to this device for that $200 price point. Let's go ahead and talk about video recording now. So highest resolution is 1080p at 30 frames per second. Now when you're just holding the device like this, panning around, recording, everything looks perfectly fine. When it comes to the action shots and moving and running and recording those type of videos, things do get pretty shaky. I'm not sure about the image stabilization, if it does have it in here, or the EIS. So I would definitely, keep a steady hand when you are recording. Maybe use a tripod or a gimbal for those action type of shots. But let me go ahead and share with you some photo samples shot on the BLU G9 Pro. And moving on to battery life on the BLU G9 Pro. So you are going to get an 18-watt quick charger in the box, and I was averaging around 5 to 6 hours of screen on time with this 4,000 milliamp hour non-removable battery. So excellent battery life in my opinion. You also got 10-watt wireless charging included. So again, $200 price point, and you are also getting wireless charging included, which is great in my opinion. So this battery will last you through an entire day without any issues. So that's pretty much it. That is my full review of the BLU G9 Pro. And to answer that question that I asked in the beginning, is it worth it in 2020? I would say yes, it's definitely worth it. For $200, you are getting a pretty good package here, fully unlocked for all GSM carriers, a nice display, good performance, good battery life, a good amount of storage, some decent cameras as well. And this should be upgraded to Android 10 and get 2 years of security patch updates. And that right there is definitely going to future-proof this device from here on out in 2020. So definitely a good performing, good solid option you have here with the BLU G9 Pro. Now if you're interested in picking up this device, I'll leave a link in the description below of this video to Amazon, where you can pick up the device there. Once again, everybody, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. Hit that thumbs up button for me. This is Lte, and I will talk to you on the next one. Bye.